Here we are on the 11th of August 2021. I've just realized that I haven't been creating many of these videos as I did in the beginning, and I think there's a few reasons why that's not happening. But what I wanted to speak into today is how important it is that we acknowledge how hard this whole experience has been. And I know I've said that many times, but I need to say it to myself again. Earlier this week, so it's Wednesday today, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. So for about 5 days, I had really poor sleep. It was coming up to the day that I needed to give myself another migraine injection. And what was interesting for me is the migraine injection seemed to be working really well. I still have some symptoms I wish I wasn't happening, but not the focus of what I want to talk about today. I knew that this was coming up, and I knew that there are some things about this self-injection that have triggered me in the past. Triggered me particularly around chemo, and I am learning that for many cancer patients, there's a lot of fear that the cancer will come back. And I'm really grateful that I made the decision early on in my treatment that I wanted to do everything I knew how so that I didn't have to wrestle with that fear. And I rarely think about it. In fact, somebody suggested, have you had your first checkup about whether or not the cancer's coming back yet? And I went, oh yeah, I have to do that, don't I? It's almost like, oh really? Do I have to do that? But what's interesting for me is what I fear and where the trauma turns up for me and the triggers turn up for me is being as sick as I was during chemotherapy. I found chemo to be so intense and so difficult, and not just the chemicals in my body, but everything to do with it. So for me, there's an incredible fear that I will be that sick again, that I will. And I think the fear around the migraines has been, am I going to be that sick again and that incapacitated and that disabled again? Monday night, so on Monday I went to the pharmacy and got my prescription refilled. So knowing that the medication is actually helpful isn't enough. I had horrible intrusive dreams. I had dreams about parts of the treatment processes right back to lumpectomy, which is April 2020. Stuff I didn't even realize that I had forgotten. I'd never talked about, I hadn't shared it with anybody, but I was left alone in a couple of rooms without any instruction, topless. People just disappeared. People were talking all around me. One of the rooms felt like it was a storage room. There was lots of broken equipment in there. And then somebody popped their head in and went, oh, what are you doing here? And I'd forgotten that had happened. And then there was just a lot of other dream interruptions around being manhandled and feeling really lost. And my mum turned up in my dream. And my mum, when I had been sick or ill, one of the things she'd been good at was taking care of me. And she had come to a medical appointment with me where I met with a beautiful looking, very well presented professional who proceeded to get up and walk out of the room, take phone calls, not talk to me, mix me up with other patients. And then at one stage she had to send me out of the room because she had something more important she needed to do. And that just reinforced, there was a lot of that sort of messaging that was coming through, particularly in the first part of my treatment. So here we are, well and truly 12 months on. And yes, I have been working with a psychologist to help deal with this, but this is some of the stuff that lingers. And I think that this stuff is only coming to the front of my mind now because the migraines and the fear of the migraines is being worked through. So I was in a hurry to get on with it and in a really big push to, I just want my life back. I've just watched one of my previous videos going, oh, Joe, Uh, but we can't hurry some of this stuff. And even if you do all the right things and all the treatment things, there's still a part of us that needs time to recover and a time to process. But in saying that, our recovery, and what I'm noticing is my recovery stories and the way I'm sharing and the way I'm talking isn't pointless, which is important for me. So my husband and I had the absolute privilege again last night of being able to walk through what's going to happen next and what to do and how to get yourself ready with a newly diagnosed couple. So the wife has breast cancer. The husband wants to make sure that he's been the best support he can, and it is a genuine privilege. But knowing that I was going to be talking about that, I had to speak to my husband and say, we just need to watch me, because I want to serve these people and love on them, but I also need to watch my own mental health, which we're doing well. Again, I just share all of this so that if people are watching, you know that just because treatment has finished doesn't mean your recovery has finished. And yes, you will be in a hurry to forget it and get on with your life and celebrate all there is to celebrate, but things will crop up, and we don't need to be scared of them. We just need to know about them and acknowledge them and let them do their thing and get the help that we need from the people that can give us the right amount of help.